Hello!
Hello.
I don't know why I've done that, but there you are. It's done now.
No.
I'm not starting
Yeah,
again.
yeah, we started now.
Christ. What a phenomenal start. Hello, everyone. Hello, Keith. How are you?
We do this every time.
It doesn't get any less awkward, does it?
No, seriously doesn't.
No. How are you, Keith? Holding up well, are we? Can we just point out the magnificence of your beard currently? It's making me very
Oh, thank you.
envious.
Thank you.
Is that is there any look in particular you're going for, or can you just not be arsed?
Just can't be ours.
Well, there you go. We've got an insight into Keith's life there. He just cannot be arsed. I've finished The Last of Us Part 2. Really good. Christ, it's long though. I finished it 4 times.
I finished the third DLC for Borderlands 3. As well, I forgot that.
Was it good?
It was the third one, the third DLC for it's excellent.
Oh, how fantastic. So everyone's having fun. I'll tell you who's having the most fun. It would be anyone associated with Liverpool Football Club, as after 30 years of hurt, if I have to hear that phrase one more time, I swear to Satan or whoever, I don't know, I swear to Allah, I'm gonna go buck mental. I'm sick of hearing it. I mean, I'm very good for Liverpool, but stop saying that. It's really irritating.
This is going to be a tough video for me.
Let it go. You've won loads. But there's been nobody better than Liverpool this season. They've absolutely bossed the league. At the time of recording this, they've played 31 games, 28 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, 70 goals scored, 21 conceded, and 14 clean sheets.
You know, I'm sure you've seen yourself the stuff going around social media. Liverpool won the league, Man City rebuilding, Arsenal pants, Chelsea not allowed to buy players, blah blah blah. You know, they won the worst season. Listen, they won.
They won convincingly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what. You know, it doesn't matter what other teams were doing. They still had to beat what was put in front of them.
That's all you can do. Is you can only beat what's put in front of you, and they have beat pretty much everybody except for Watford, which nobody bloody saw coming. Of course, the season is not over yet. There could be a few more dips in form, but the title is officially going to Anfield for the first time in 30 years. That's as long as I've been alive. It's depressing. That's the thing, right? Social media, as we know, is an incredibly toxic and horrible bloody place. And like even just folk are going buck mad about this. Fans of other teams are going mental. It's like, just chill out. It's only football. Calm down. We're in the middle of a global pandemic and innocent people are being killed on the daily. It's not that big a deal. Just chill out. You can try again next year. That's the joy of the whole thing. It just goes on and bloody on, and it never stops. So there you go.
Yeah, that's how stuff works.
Just calm down. So a lot of this success is being contributed to Big Jurgen, of course. Came in 2015, and up until this current second in time has a win percentage of 65.14%. Which is higher than any of his predecessors since 1990. So that's higher than Kenny Dalglish, higher than Rafa Benitez.
Well, the thing is as well, for a side that lost the league last year by a point and has won the league by a landslide this year, you'd like to think he has quite a good win percentage.
I think he's got something to do with it.
I saw a stat that said since Sadio Mane signed for Liverpool, he hasn't lost a home game in the Premier League. A lot of the success they've had this last couple of years has been down to that front three.
But then, of course, the signings of Van Dijk and Alisson really helped, and then the likes of Alexander-Arnold coming through the academy. You know, it's a.
I'll be honest. Like, for European champions and for Premier League champions, controversial statement coming, I think the midfield's bang average, but They've got a very good front line and they've got a very good defence.
Hmm.
So the bit in the middle's just...
That's the one thing about that people have said about this Liverpool side, is that there's outside, like the amount of depth is nowhere near it should be. So we'll come on to later on where who they should bring in or where they should try to strengthen. But as for now, I'd just like to rub it in your face more that Liverpool are the current Premier League champions.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one more Premier League title than Newcastle have won.
Yeah, you say that like it's it's an achievement.
Bless them, Liverpool, finally. I mean, that's only taken them, since the Premier League started. They finally joined that Blackburn and Leicester club.
Although I would imagine that Liverpool have spent considerably more than either of those sides to get to this stage. An approximate 1.47 billion has been spent between their last and their most recent title win, which is bloody mental.
No, and I suppose, to be fair as well, I mean, that's only their spend.
Yeah,
So I assume they brought in, reasonable amounts of money.
like you look at like who they've spent that money on, right? For every bloody Luis Suarez or Sadio Mane or Virgil van Dijk, there's been a Andre Voronin or a Mario Balotelli or a bloody, who else was crap that played for Liverpool?
Robbie Keane wasn't great when he was there.
That was really sad. I really wanted that to work. I think Robbie Keane's great. Or a Bruno Cheru, or the likes of those lads. So yeah, they've definitely gone about it in there.
Are your man that did the back heel under his own goal in the FA Cup against Burnley?
Oh, Jimmy Traore.
Let me try. All right, thank you.
He has a Champions League winner's medal.
Couldn't remember his name, but remembered what he did.
Right. By the way, on the subject of Jimmy Traore, Romney does have a Champions League winner's medal, which is mental. 2, he scored one of the greatest goals I've ever seen, and he's playing for Seattle Sounders. Oh my word! Tell you what, pause this video now, go watch that goal, come back to this, and you'll be like, you know what? You're right. It was an absolute worldie. I was going to say, like, we can't really kind of throw Liverpool under the bus considering the amount of dross that has graced the supposed greatest league in the world. Like, off the top of your head, can you think of signing any, like, the worst signings that your team has made in comparison to Liverpool's worst signings?
How long have you got? William Prunier, Eric Jamba,
Oh, yeah.
Cleberson, David Bellion, Dong Fan Zhou.
Dong Fan Zhou.
Is that how you pronounce that?
What about Minuccio and Bebe and all them lads?
Minuccio, Bebe, yes.
There's no like proper banter players in the Prem anymore. It's really annoying.
Andy Gorham.
Andy Gorham. God, I forgot he played for yous. The most terrifying man in the history of anything. I'm trying to think of like ones that we've had some absolute crap. We've had Jeremy. We've had Claudio Casapa, who's possibly the worst defender. John Alan Boomsong.
John Dal Thomason.
Patrick Kluivert. Absolute.
Stefan Givard.
Stefan Givard. We had world-class forwards and they've all been crap. Bloody Gabriel Obertan, old light bulb head.
Oh, well, yeah, everyone for both of us, actually, yeah.
We gave you a profit on him. We gave you £3 million for him.
Oh, we could go on.
We could go on all day, which is probably another. That's probably another episode of the podcast. Our club's worst ever players. But yeah, it's just kind of to go to show that not all of Liverpool's transfer success. Like people talk about their recent success in the market. It wasn't always that way.
Yeah, I do believe with City stats or Liverpool stats, sorry, they are with their points total at the minute on track to beat Man City's record.
It would seem to be, all the records seem to be tumbling for Liverpool this season. I think it's like most home wins and stuff. Like there's like loads of different stats for this year, but they are on track to beat City's 100-point Premier League record. That was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. Seven games to go, 86 points.
Yeah, but time of recording, they have 7 games to go, and the next game is ironically against Manchester City. So there's a possible 21 points up for grabs for Liverpool.
I mean, they
So
could
that,
lose another 2 games and still get it.
yeah, so it seems very likely that they're going to beat that. I don't think they'll get anywhere near their goals. Man City's, they scored over 100 goals. Liverpool only have 70. I say only have 70. And City, even City this season are on 77 scored. So, but they could beat the points tally. Absolutely, they could. So, do you want to play a little game, Keith?
I want to play. Okay.
Yeah, just while we're on the subject of Liverpool's goal scoring exploits. Right, since the 1990 to 1991 season to present, right? Who are their top 3 goal scorers? Who in their current side has the most goals of their top goal scorers in that period of time? If that question makes any sense.
Right. So, who of the current side has the most Salah?
It is indeed Mo Salah with 71 goals, which is insane. And then the next one is Sadio Mane with 60, and then Bobby Firmino with 56. Do you know who their top 3 goal scorers are in that 30-year period?
Top 3. Fowler.
Fowler is top with 128 league goals, yeah.
Probably Salah. Was Salah in the top 3?
Salah was top 4, he was number 4.
He's number 4, right? So Michael Owen.
Michael Owen is third with 118.
Either Suarez or Torres. Suarez.
It's Stevie G. Stephen
Yeah, I
Gerrard.
was thinking as many as I suppose he's been there for.
For donkey's years. 121 he got. Just on the subject of stats, I'm just going to spaff out a few at you. Like I say, they've scored 70 goals in the league this season with an average of 2.26 goals per game, which is bloody mad. Only 5 of those were penalties, so there you go. They've hit the woodwork 13 times, if that means anything to you. 14 clean sheets, 21 conceded, 66 saves made, 84% overall pass accuracy.
21 goals conceded in 32 games is so good as some writer, to be fair.
It's it's insane, isn't it? It harkens back to, was it Mourinho's Chelsea? Was it his first season? Where they conceded like 12 or 11 or something stupid.
That's something ridiculous. They just won 1-0 every week.
Yeah. So, it's... And to be fair, the building blocks have been put in place here for some time. People say, oh, Klopp, he has this, they just adapted to a system. I think Andy Robertson was saying that, no, we didn't. We had to work so super hard. It wasn't a case of just coming in and he said these magic words and we knew how to play. It's like, it's a whole new way of playing under Klopp, and they all had to adapt to it, which is a credit to all of them for being able to do so.
Look, I mean, he does seem, well, obviously, like he's a very, very good manager.
Very good manager and a very likable sort of chap. You can see why the players are so loyal to him.
Yeah, you can, to be fair.
He seems like a very personable sort of guy, and that he does seem to have a very, watching interviews with him after the night and the day after they won the title, you could see it clearly meant a lot to him. He said it was for the likes of Kenny Dalglish and stuff. So he respects the history of the club, I would say, which you can't really fault. Really, that's what you want in your manager to respect.
Yeah, well, this is very true. Yes.
So where do they go from here, Keith? I wonder. Do they carry this success on to next season, or do you think Man City will be able to kind of make up the ground on them going forward, or Chelsea with the likes of bringing in Ziyech and Werner already, which is mental? But do you think that it'll be
for very, very little money combined as well?
Yes, for very little money. But do you think it'll be a case of Liverpool are going to run away with it? Do you think it'll be City chasing them, or do you think it'll be somebody else them close?
Don't see them running away with it. I don't see City being as far behind. Pep won't let that happen again. There'll be moves definitely. At City, I would say there'll be a lot of expensive players that will make an appearance because they're losing David Silva for a start.
But surely
contract he's not.
You'd say that Foden though would surely come in there to play, because if you think if Foden, if he's not going to get played under these circumstances, he's not going to get played at all. So you think that his career may lie elsewhere. So I'd say they would have made a replacement for David Silva, but who knows? I don't know. not a
I
football
think he
fan.
has to go personally. I think he has to go to get football. But I mean, they're losing Leroy Sané as well. He's not signing a new deal.
It's looking very likely that Sané will go.
They need to address what's going on up front because Aguero's struggling as last wee while with injuries. You know, he's not been playing as much. And I don't think Gabriel Jesus is necessarily the answer.
Oh, I think Gabriel Jesus is a terrific player. I think he's got a ridiculous goal to game ratio. I think in any other team, Jesus starts ahead of everyone else. But in this City team, you've got Sergio Aguero, one of the most lethal goal scorers in Premier League history. Why wouldn't you play him?
I can definitely see him bringing a big name striker in.
So you think City are going to regain some momentum and some footing in the title race for next year? Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Chelsea having signed Ziyech and Timo Werner, I think Chelsea will be.
It's an interesting project at Chelsea, to be fair. I kind of think the opposite. I think this is going to be kind of like when City first won their first Premier League title, they went on kind of a tear, like a little period of dominance. I think Liverpool will win at least win another one before they're really challenged. I think the way that Klopp has that particular set of players working, I think they play that system too well, and no one's been able to figure it out this year, apart from Watford, which is mad for some reason. And obviously in the Champions League they've fallen short. But domestically, I don't think there's anybody who'll be able to figure that system out. I think Liverpool are going to win at least one more before, like I said, they'll be challenged by the likes of City, the likes of Chelsea. Arsenal are completely out of it. United, are still apparently rebuilding. That'll be for another video, I think. We're getting off the track. Well, not really, but we're just kind of wondering, can Liverpool be challenged next year? I say no. You say maybe.
I say they can.
So in terms of where do you think Liverpool need to strengthen? They will definitely make additions this season. What areas of the pitch do you think they need to strengthen? And who do you think will go?
See, this is the thing. I don't necessarily know who they could get or who will go, but I think they need midfielders. Because as I said earlier, I think their midfield bang average for how good a team they are.
So
I think they need.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I think they need cover as well for the front three. Because when you take the front three out, their cover's pretty bare. You've got Divock Origi. That's really about it.
If we're running down their midfield options just while we're here, they've got Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, Fabinho. James Milner can play in there, so I'm going to put James Milner in as centre midfield.
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Wijnaldum. I mean, that's not, it's pretty, in terms of quality, it's pretty good,
It's not a midfield three that I look at and would think, it would strike fear in me, to be honest. You wouldn't be worried coming up against that three.
But then it's the system that they play as well. It's the thing, if they can adapt to that system, then you don't necessarily have to be the most talented player. I think though they might bring in one more just to have one. If you play a three, you want to back up for those three. So you bring in another central midfielder, another forward probably. Yes, as you say, because Origi's just kind of a meme. As much as I like Divock Origi, but he's a bit of a step down from the likes of Bobby Firmino. They do seem to have a lot of faith in their young lads as well. Like Minamino they brought in as well, so he's kind of cover. Harvey Elliott they seem quite high on. Curtis Jones they seem quite high on. I think they could do with a backup keeper, truth be told.
When you talk about the forward line and the centre halves, you kind of have to think, well, they're not going to get, football week in, week out, so it's trying to find somebody who's of a level that won't mind sitting on the bench.
It's very similar to the Harry Kane Tottenham thing, where it's like they desperately need a backup forward, but you need someone who's going to be of good quality, who's also happy enough to know that they're going to be second in command type thing. So just before we move on, Keith, from Liverpool, is that everything? Do you have anything else to add apart from vitriol and hatred?
Apart from the fact that I hate the fact that they won the league and couldn't return not stay up.
I could not hide my ambivalence for Liverpool winning the league. I could. You know what? Actually, I am happy Liverpool have won the league because it's somebody different. You know, I like variety. It's like in the Bundesliga in the early 2010s when loads of different people won it. I am happy enough Liverpool. Plus, they're like, you know, one of the old traditional football English teams. You know, give them a bit.
I mean, I'm all for variety and other teams winning it, just not Liverpool.
I don't get it. I think Liverpool are fine. There's nothing wrong with Liverpool, even though they perennially batter us. But so does everybody. But no, you know what? Congratulations to Liverpool. You can't, even if you're not happy with it, you can't say that they don't deserve it. They've been the best team, arguably the best team for the last 2 years, even though they didn't win it last year. But they've definitely been the best team this year, obviously. And the season's not even over yet, so they could even crack that 100-point. They could beat that 100-point barrier. So yeah, congratulations to Liverpool. You've done a bloody good job. Well done. Happy days. Terrific. Have one of them. Well done. So just before we go, of course, Liverpool aren't the only team that have been crowned champions this past week. Bayern Munich, of course, won their 1700th league title in a row. As the Bundesliga season wraps up, they finish on 82 points, scoring 100 goals, conceding 32. Mad. Borussia Dortmund were some way behind. They finished on 69 points in second. Leipzig in third. And Borussia Mönchengladbach. Happy days. They are in the Champions League next season, with Leverkusen and Hoffenheim into the Europa League spots. Going down, however, unfortunately, Paderborn finished bottom with 20 points. God love you. Fortuna Düsseldorf in 17th, and Werder Bremen are in the relegation playoff against I don't know who. I should have researched that, but Werder Bremen have had an absolutely shocking season, and they were lucky to get into 17th, truth be told. They only finished a point ahead of Fortuna Düsseldorf. So yes, Werder Bremen are in the relegation playoff game. They will play Heidenheim, who I want to go up purely because of their name. They finished a point ahead of Hamburg. Hamburg's stuck in the Bundesliga 2 for another season. But going up as champions into the Bundesliga are Arminia Bielefeld. They're going up as champions, and Stuttgart will go up as well. So Stuttgart back in the top flight, along with Arminia Bielefeld. For another season of rampant Bayern Munich dominance.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's a very predictable league, isn't it?
Yes, and apparently Leroy Sané's buggering off there as well, so that's just going to make it even more...
Sure, have all the players.
Yes, take all of them. That's fine. It's absolutely fine. So, have you any other silly stories or news to contribute before we wrap up this episode of the Poddington Cast?
I do not, actually.
No? Fantastic. Because I've had to evacuate my bowels for quite some time, and now this is the ideal time to do it. You don't need to know that, but you find out, so there you go. So
that's cup.
So in short, well done Liverpool, well done Bayern. You've done really good at the old football there. That's terrific stuff. Well done. You should be very proud. Keith, where can the good people find you on the internet type thing?
They can find me on Twitter. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, to be perfectly honest. I'm quite useless like that. But usually it's like somewhere along here. It
is. Anything else? An Instagram, a Snappington chat, any of that? Carry on.
I don't do Snappington chats or Instagram. I don't understand them.
No, I don't understand that. I think, what was it, we came to the conclusion that Instagram was a way of finding out weights very quickly. Instagram.
Yep. Instagram.
I do have an Instagram. It's in the link in the description, as it is always. My Twitter is there if you want some mad leftist propaganda and pictures of cats and dogs. That's essentially all my Twitter is. What else on the channel should the fine people go and check out, Keith? We have a veritable smorgasbord of stuff.
We have lots of things. We have your Pez. We have a Roma season.
We have the Master League, with Roma, which is falling off the rails quite rapidly.
And the Northern Ireland European Championships.
We have that, yeah. We have a load of live reactions that we've done to games in the past. We've done silly football challenges. There's like a big blooper reel that I put up a few weeks ago of stuff that was never used or was never meant to be seen. So it's just generally us acting like arses. So yeah, have a wee look, see what you reckon. Do hit subscribe and stuff. You don't have to. Just do it if you want to. It's fine. It's not going to really affect things one way or the other. It might get us a brand deal if enough of you do it. So if enough of you want to click subscribe, maybe Raid Shadow Legends will sponsor us. So I feel like we're the only channel that Raid Shadow Legends don't bloody sponsor. So I'll have some of that. Thank you very much. But whilst we're clamouring for brand deals and self-worth, it just remains for us to say, cheery bye. We'll see you in the next one, of course. We'll do this awkward waving thing that seems to just be the way we end these things now. Bye, 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 bye. Jesus Christ, I went a bit sinister there.
Bye.
Jesus Christ!